Hi guys, I'm Jacob, and in this video I'm going to share with you why and how exposure therapy never actually fixed my social anxiety, and what you can do to genuinely become socially free and more confident. Now, if you've struggled with social anxiety, what's it's felt like your whole life, if you've tried exposure therapy or other tactics that never just fully actually works, and despite all this effort that you've put in, you're still inhibited. You can't say what you really want to say, and you don't feel free or able to communicate yourself properly, like how it's meant to be. You just want to be able to talk to someone and just like have a conversation whenever, because we're humans and just being able to communicate is just needed. And you're likely frustrated and frankly believe that you shouldn't have social anxiety anymore. You've put in work and it should be over. You should be done with it. Why do I still have this? But nonetheless, it still exists and it still rules your life. But you want to face the fear. You don't want social anxiety to rule your life. And you're not afraid of taking action. If that sounds like you, this video is perfect for you. And I've got some powerful advice for you. And I want you to know that I struggled with social anxiety myself. So I've always felt like I've had social anxiety. I've never been fully able to express myself. And from about 2020 to 2024, I was like hard on self-improvement. I'd be going to the gym, going 3 to 5, probably more like 5 to 6 times a week. I'd care so much about getting stronger. I'd be reading all of the books, like How to Win Friends and Influence People. I read that a few times. I would also be doing highly disciplined things like having cold showers, fixing my bad habits. But despite all of this, I even went and like put myself outside of my comfort zone many times. I got social jobs. I had a job at a retail store. I even went and got a sales job for 6 months. I dealt with daily rejection. But despite all of that, I still had social anxiety. I still couldn't go up to a fucking stranger and say, hey, how you going? Or have a normal conversation. Still, the prospect of approaching girls and having a genuine conversation, getting to know her, and her possibly being attracted to me, fucking impossible, despite all of what I've done. Then, now, fast forward to the end of last year, I took some more action, learned some more things, and I finally managed to cure it about 95%. Then, fast forward to the end of last year, and I finally managed to, by taking action and learning a few things, I finally got rid of it completely. Like, even probably like a month ago, I went to Gold Coast on a holiday. I saw this attractive girl on the beach, and I was like, let's go talk to her. I had a 30-minute, nearly 40-minute conversation with her, genuinely connected. It was nice, it was warm, and it was effortless. It was like, holy shit, that's how it's meant to be. That's how I'm meant to be. And that was so nice. That's what I'm going to give you in this video. So first, let's define exposure therapy and why it didn't work specifically for me. So in the beginning, maybe 2020, 2021, the prospect of talking to a stranger in any context was scary. Then I faced the fear. I got a customer-facing job at a retail store. So I was exposed to strangers every single day. Hey, how's it going? Scan your goods, and then have a good day. That on repeat. The first few months, I was outside of my comfort zone. I was growing. But then it stalled. I still couldn't talk to girls. I still couldn't have a normal conversation. Years went by. I went on self-improvement, more so, more gym, more meditating, more all this crap. Then years went by and I quit that job and I got a much harder sales job, working 10 hours a day, getting rejected, cold calls, because I watched Alex Hormozy and I was like, fuck, he's so cool. That's exactly what I need. That's going to build me. And I was addicted to growth and self-improvement. So I was like, yeah, that's the natural next step in my evolution, I guess you could say. I went there for 6 months and then I quit because honestly, it was too hard and I couldn't handle it. I didn't want that to be my life. 10 hours a day stuck in front of a desk job, cold calling and getting rejected. Not for me. Made tons of money, but probably could have stuck it out, but why? Anyway, that's besides the point. So I've gotten tons of rejection, talked to so many strangers. What it felt like was grow myself to a new level. But I still couldn't talk to people. I still couldn't go up to a stranger and say, hey, how you doing? Despite, again, all of that effort, I was somewhat better and more competent socially. But it was like, on a percentage, I was like 30, 40, 50% better. What I wanted was to be able to be basically socially free. If I want to go up to that person and talk to him, I can go up to him and talk to him without any bullshit going on internally. That's what I wanted. And that's what I'm sure you want. Spoiler alert, you can do that. Year and a bit go by, and I did some even more exposure therapy. I bought a coaching package and had someone coach me through going up and approaching girls, what actually attracts them. Because I wanted a girlfriend. I wanted to get better socially. So I bought a coach. Well, hired a coach. I hired a coach. I paid a fair amount of money. I wanted a social circle as well. I wanted all these things. So I was like, this guy he was reaching out and he told me what he does. That sounded awesome. So we went out, approached girls, got rejected. It was a fair bit of fun, faced the discomfort. Like, we would go out to nightclubs and bars and I would approach several girls. He'd give me things to say and I'd go up and just approach. Nothing came of it. I made no progress. Again, I made maybe 10 to 20% more progress, showing myself that, hey, you can be rejected and still be sort of okay, I guess. Not really. Because a lot of the times I would spiral and like attack myself. So that didn't work. I still felt, honestly, after that like 3-4 month period, it was fucking uncomfortable. I didn't like it. And I still felt socially anxious. I still felt like a loser and fundamentally different. So, fast track to the end of last year. Now this is what I'm going to be talking about for the rest of the video and how you can become socially free. Attachment to outcome and not being able to be seen in a certain light. I want you to imagine two different people approaching a beautiful woman, and yeah, this person goes in with the frame and the mindset and the intention that I'm going to see if she likes me. I'm going to see if we get along. And that's all. This situation doesn't mean anything about me. It's a 30-second conversation that my value as a person isn't on the line. It's just, we're going to see if we connect. That's all. That's the first intention. The second intention, I fundamentally feel like a loser. I don't feel loved. I need love. I need a girlfriend. I want sex. And I need her to like me. On top of all that, has these rules in his mind. I can't be seen as anxious. I can't be seen as weird. I can't be seen as creepy. I don't want to be seen as shy. Is these rules and these needs. He goes into the situation with this clammed up in his mind. Now you tell me what happens. The intention of, let's see if we get along. Let's see what happens. I'm fundamentally okay, regardless of what happens. Versus, I need her to like me. I can't be weird. I can't be creepy. What do you think? This attachment to what happens and not being fundamentally okay, or just allowing whatever to happen, this is a major problem. And this problem can also be unconscious. You might not even realize that you're doing this. You're approaching girls to fill an unconscious need that you have. Maybe you didn't get love from your parents much as a child, so you want love from attractive women. That's more common than you think. When you're going in with these intentions, you just give off an aura of neediness, insecurity, and weakness, and it's honestly repulsive. Like, if you looked at yourself from a third-person perspective, talking to the girl, how would you behave? How would you deem that person with these two intentions? You have to learn to let go. especially these rules about being seen as weird. Like, if you're seen as weird, so what? So what? You're going to have one person on this universe, on this planet, that thinks you're weird. Genuinely, so what? The only pain and problem this is created in your own mind. The reason this is a problem is because you think it says something about you specifically. You're attached to being seen as a certain way. You're attached. If she thinks you're weird, I think I might be weird. I might actually be weird. I can't be seen as weird. And you take that belief that you might be weird, you attach solidity to it. You think it's valid. And if someone else sees that as, or just basically says, you're weird, you now think, because you've seen someone else call you weird, I'm weird. And that is the reason you feel like crap. But the point being, you can accept that, hey, you might be weird. Hey, you might be insecure. This is something called vulnerability. It's being able to accept your insecurities as they are. I guess you can try to change them, but you accept them. It's like, imagine, again, I'll give another example. Imagine someone calls you insecure, weak, and like, I'm going to give the two-person example again. This is a very good point. Now, imagine a person gets called weird, anxious, insecure, and as a result, they get hyper defensive. They're like, I'm not insecure, I'm not anxious. Or they just clam up and be like, yeah, you're right. They fundamentally haven't accepted that part. Versus another person who makes a joke of it. They act completely... Sorry, actually, they don't act. They just are, like, stoic and confident. They don't care genuinely what other people think. And even if they have the insecurity of, I'm afraid I might be weird, he just, like, it is what it is, mate. Fucking, if I'm weird. So, and again, who do you think is going to be more likely to be socially free and not have social anxiety? The person who is okay with being vulnerable, or the person who is hyper defensive? And even this person, he can make a joke of it. He can, like, turn his insecurity into making everyone laugh with him. Like, okay, there's an example. It just came up. So, yeah, I'm going to give another example with two people. Imagine someone says, and he gets made fun of, that he's never had a girlfriend and instead he just likes dudes. Instead of being super insecure that he's never been with a girl, he acts, bro, I love guys. Don't take that out of context. Fuck. Or just like he jokes that, oh yeah, he's had like 40 boyfriends. And he takes it to such an extreme and ridiculous view that it's just funny. And everyone's laughing with him. Versus the guy who gets all defensive and it's like, that's so mean. How could you say I've never had a girlfriend? Who just gets hyper defensive and doesn't make a joke of it. He's not okay. He's weak and weird. Not that being weak or weird is bad, but literally all I'm trying to say is own your insecurities. The parts of you that you don't like, fucking own them. So what if this relative part of yourself isn't liked by other people? Or it's not liked? So fucking what? Mate, you're fine. The day is going to exist regardless of this part of yourself. Or just, you have to get over this. You have to accept that part of yourself. Next point. This is often what you resent about others or don't like about them is often a projection of what you don't like about yourself and are unwilling to accept that part of yourself. Using projection and what you don't like about others as a tool to discover more about yourself and, from the point earlier, accept that part of yourself. If you find that you really dislike this trait in other people, more often than not, you're going to realize, fuck, I don't actually like this part about myself. Or if you find yourself getting extremely defensive, your ego reacts and like your emotions are just flooded when someone says something about you, like that you're insecure or weird, you use that. You don't like say, oh fuck, I'm a bad person, or like self-attack yourself. You think this is like a diagnostic tool. Okay, in this situation, I got triggered. Instead of like avoiding the situation, like running to your phone, running to alcohol, running to scroll on social media, or running to eat, instead of avoiding it, use it as a diagnostic tool. Hold on a second. What am I afraid of? What am I afraid that may be true about me? Why? Why am I so afraid? Become introspective. Think about thinking. Think about why. Metacognition, it's a useful skill. Use it as a diagnostic tool to figure out why and what the hell is going on. And then, once you figure that out, you can logically and emotionally accept that. Fuck, I'm unwilling to be seen as anxious in social situations. You know what? I might be anxious. Other people might think I'm anxious. So what? I'm not fundamentally different or a loser because of that. It just is. So what? By thinking it's fundamentally a bad thing, or I can't do that, just not accepting that, that is what creates the problem. Because then you can't be free. You can't be socially free. How can you be free when that part of you can't come out? When you can't act a specific way? That is literally the definition of inhibition. You're inhibiting yourself. You're acting on a rule unconsciously. You can't act in a certain way because you refuse to be seen in that certain way. And if you have so many rules about how you can't be, what happens? You have to look through and find these rules. Like, man, you'll be so much more free and just able to be and just exist when you get rid of these rules. So my main point and takeaway from this video is to find the parts of you using projection, using your insecurities that you don't like, that you're unwilling to accept, and accept them. Accept that you might be seen as crap in a situation and that it says nothing about you as a person. You have to link and figure this out, because only then will you become so much more socially free. So yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Subscribe. And yeah, bye-bye.